Hey there everybody, in this video we're going to be talking about the Aputure Amaran F1. This light is awesome. Stick around, we're going to give it a hands-on review. So this light has quickly, and by quickly I mean I've had it for like 3 or 4 days and it's already become like my favorite thing ever in terms of the lighting gear. So it's a very small window of things. I have an Aputure Amaran 528W and now the Amaran F1. And this F1 is a really cool device. It's really cool for a number of different reasons, but largely because it's just incredibly bright. So I think it's rated for like 970 lux at about a meter, but it's like 14,000 lux at like half a foot or something along those lines. So it's an incredibly bright light. The problem with that is that it's also a very harsh light. And if you're here and you're wondering, okay, what's the difference between the F1 and the 198 that Aputure also makes? Well, the 198 is the previous model, the F1 is the newer one. You can see in some of the styling cues that the F1 is taken after the Tri-8, and the 528W that I have is also an older model. The update to that is the Tri-8 as well. So we're dealing in two different product generations here, at least I am. And in talking about that 198 versus the F1, those are two different product generations as well. Now, the 198 comes in at around 60 bucks and the F1 is at 100, so it's very reasonable for you to ask, well, Josh, what's the difference between the two of them? There's two main differences. The first is build quality. So the F1 has a much better body design, if you will. Camera speak, I know I can't get around it, but it has a hard plastic shell around the LEDs. So my 528 does not have that, and so you put little plastic gels in there and that will give some protection. It's got some raised sides and stuff, but it's unprotected. And that's another previous generation model, much like that 198. On the F1, you're getting that protection so that if it falls, if there's scrapes, those bulbs won't bust open and cause a problem. Additionally, the power options are just so much better on the F1. On the F1, you're going to get your Sony style batteries, you're going to get D-tap, and you're going to get USB-C. So when it came a day earlier than I anticipated and I didn't have the batteries ready for it, and the batteries for my 528 were both dead, I was able to hook up an external power bank and a wall charger when that died, and use that as a power source when I was just playing around with it. And it was a lot of fun to be able to play with it, and it was super fun to have those extra power options. Hey, really quick, you can find the links, the product links to all these devices that I'm talking about in the description down below. Out of those two categories, I think that we can reasonably say, or I feel comfortable saying, that the build quality and those extra power options are enough to justify the extra cost. So if you're looking at the 198 or the F1, I'd highly recommend going after the F1. Now, talked about how bright it was. What I didn't say is that it's incredibly harsh light. Right now I have it up top as like a hair light, and you can see it spilling down a little bit, and it's really soft. And you're like, well, Josh, that's not a great example of a really harsh light now, is it? But it comes with two levels of diffusion. So it's got two little raised bits and little plastic things that slide right in and then cover the main body of the light. So the first is just kind of a quick and dirty diffusion. It's not very much. And then the second is a very high level of diffusion. Right now it's on 100% with that higher level of diffusion. I'm doing a test as we speak of how long it will last at 100% with the batteries that I picked up for it. Because of its extreme brightness and extreme harshness, you do have to be careful because it will just really knock your eyeballs out for a minute if you look at it straight on. So I'd highly recommend setting it up so that it's not directly within your line of sight because it will make you blind. And I've used it for a couple videos already as the key. It's that powerful. So you can use this light because of its power, because of its output potential for a whole lot of different things, right? You can use it as a hair light. You can use it as a key. You can use it as fill. And that's not to be a little too redundant with my verbiage, but that's the key component of this light, right? In terms of why would you want to buy one of these? Its versatility is why. Because you can do just about everything with this. I'd like to pick up another couple just so I can have a few around. Now, it comes with a fantastic ball head. The ball head that it comes with, it's on right now, and I got a little clamp for it as well, so I can put it just about anywhere, and I'd like to talk more about that clamp here in a minute, but that ball head is very good quality. The clamp came with a little tiny ball head that was just awful. I haven't thrown it away yet, but that's just because I put it somewhere and I lost it, but I'd like to throw it away. It was just so bad. So that ball head, I would love it if they could just sell those individually, because I'd love to buy a couple, because they're the best quality ones that I've seen, especially for coming with an LED light. That was a huge surprise, and I'm really happy about that. Now, that clamp has also been fantastic for me because it's changed the way that I feel like I can light this space. I have my 528 on a big tripod, and that's nice and that's good. It's probably the best way to do it for me right now, but having the clamp means that I can position it on any horizontal or vertical surface. And so I've been using it like I like to use my LED lights as a practical for just, you know, I want a little bit extra daylight in this room, and the sun has set, or the sun is setting, and so I want to have that more daylight balanced light in that space. And so that clamp has not only been fantastic for being able to set up in weird spots for this studio space and the studio space from my last video, but also just in general. And so I'd highly recommend looking into a clamp, just if you're gonna have some of these lights laying around, want to use them for a myriad of things, 10,000 of things. So yeah, the build quality is excellent, the power options are excellent, the output is great. You do have to play with it a lot, and because it's bicolor, you're gonna need to be absolutely certain of the color temperature that you want it to be at. I had to double check and look up what the color temperature of this light was so that I could get it all three, the camera and the two lights, to match. The really cool thing, in my opinion, about this light in particular, the F1, is that it goes from very blue, like 3200 Kelvin, to 10,000 Kelvin, or very orange. And what that means is that you have a huge range of color temperatures, right? But the way that they've designed it, that like daylight area balance is using both of the sets of lights. So they're arranged in a diagonal pattern across the device. And when you're in that daylight range, you're getting all of the light, all of the LEDs turned on at the same time. That's awesome in my book. Even better results in terms of production quality from the videos that I'm bringing to y'all. Smash that like button, subscribe, check out the affiliate links to those, the 528, the clamp, the batteries, and the F1 down in the description. So yeah, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.